we might want to add to our files the idea of plantings and what that might kind of add to what we're thinking. Just going to quickly hide that. And so the design, we have all of these columns. And in fact, I might go to a level I can start to see these columns. And I want to start placing maybe some idea of vegetation. So I'm going to grab a deciduous 20-foot beech. Okay, fine. And so I might start thinking about the kind of pattern that I already have set up and use that perhaps as a and actually this would be a good time to start showing you array tool. So this is the array tool, and I'm just going to put in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these trees, and then I'm going to define how far apart they are. And so this automatically kind of creates that array. And if I want it to go further, then I can start to do that. And if I want to stretch them and get them further than 20 feet, I can do that. So these will kind of automatically grouped. So I'm just kind of imagining me moving these, at 40 feet, and then maybe adding one more. Okay, and then I'm just going to copy and paste and maybe put them also on the other side. Alright, great. So now I have an idea of vegetation kind of outside of the project. But you might notice that they really show up in this kind of globbery goo. Really bad drawing of a tree. Doesn't look bad when you turn on realistic. The idea is that they have an image map. Or I think it's called an RCP is what these trees are. And so at any angle you'll see kind of a rendering of a tree that's reasonable. But that only works on realistic. When you go to hidden line, you get this really bad looking tree. So I'm going to show you how to fix that. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to do an internet search. Alright, so I just did a quick tree CAD drawing search, and then I just went into images to take a look at what I got. And this SecoNet, I wanted to get a basic plan, maybe an elevation, and it looks like SecoNet has both of these. So I'm just going to go to its website and do a quick search for trees. And you see all these blocks, they're free. So I'm just going to look at kind of what kind of trees. Obviously not a palm tree. I'm just going to grab, I think, this one, this ficus. And then if you scroll down to the bottom, you'll see that you can download a file. And I'm going to download the one that's in feet. throw that on my desktop. This would be the elevation tree. Ah. And then you would also download a tree. I've done that for both of these. And from there, let's go back into Revit. And we'll go to a view that we can see the trees. Okay, so here I'm just going to edit, well, in this case I'm going to edit the group, and then I'm going to edit that family. I might want to remember to actually edit I probably want to duplicate this, so this will be, I'll just call it the drawing one, and I'll have to apply that to all of my trees, but let's just go ahead and edit that family. So it should be now in the edit the drawing version of this deciduous tree. Alright, so you're going to go to Views, and let's just move to Floor Plan first. And you'll see that this really kind of basic tree drawing is there. So what I am going to do is insert and import the CAD. And I put that on my desktop, so let's take a look. There's my plan. I'll go ahead and use the center to center because I'm not sure how this was built. And okay, and we see that it's actually pretty good. I'm going to delete the information that it had before, and then I'll just move this so it's more centered. So now that replaced the basic drawing with this a little bit more specific drawing. And then I want to go to the elevations, and we'll take a look at what's there. Alright, I want to keep this. I don't want to remove that because that is the RCP. That's what's going to give it the images. But I want to add in, I'm going to insert then the other CAD, the elevation. And we can see already that there may be a problem with the scale, but I can fix that relatively easy. I'm just going to align the base of it so it's at the bottom. And then I'm just going to grab it and I will scale it up. The scale tool, you can see right there, is not available. I'm going to see if in another view. For whatever reason, in 3D view, the scale tool is available. And so now I'm going to just scale this. Getting reasonably close to something that I like. I'll scale it one more time. Alright, so that looks pretty good. And remember that that's only in one view, so I might want to go ahead and copy that and then rotate it 90 degrees. Alright, so now I have in any different direction that I look at this, I'll have a reasonable drawing. But let's go back to the elevation. So this is for the front. I can select these things, and if you look at visibility settings, you can tell it when you want it to show up. And I don't want this to show up in my front and back. I've grabbed that kind of poorly drawn tree and I've turned it off, so it'll never show up in my front and left views. And I'll say OK. And then that other one I might want to grab is tab through and grab that one, that vertical one. So remember, this is in the front view, so if I click on this, I can turn it off on the front and back and the plan. Say OK. So it will never show up when in that elevation. And then I'm going to go with the left view, and I'll do the same thing. Turn that off, that's all good, and then I'll tab through and turn visibility for left and right for that one that's kind of perpendicular to me. Alright, let's see if I got close with that. So I'm going to load into project. I think I'm in project 1. Overwrite the existing version, yes. Alright, let's take a look. It looks like there's some kind of strange issue with not seeing the rest of the tree. I think that has to do with I might want to move that plan up a bit, so I'm going to edit the family and move this to be offset from the ground maybe by a foot, so that any kind of sloping site does not affect it poorly. So let's do that. Alright, that looks good. So now in my plan versions, I'm getting something that is pretty good. Let's see, I need to get out of group. When you're working in a group, you have to come on and finish it. Kind of like when you're working in a mass. So that should finish it. So now, the one thing I might want to change, it looks like, do one more edit. It looks like in plan I would rather not see this, so I'll turn that off in plan and load it back in. And it takes a bit of doing to get this kind of all coordinated, but you can see in a few minutes I've been able to do that, and we'll just take a look at some 3D views. And okay, we still see the globby, bad looking tree. Alright, so I'm going to take care of one more thing. Let's go back into the level. And what I'm going to do is a bit tricky. Let's go into 3D view of this. Alright, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to visibility, and for this element I'm only going to have it turned on. This is the RCP thing. I'm going to have it turned on when it's fine, and in every other view it won't show up. That's the idea. And then I need to grab this plan. I notice that it is showing up in front and back and left and right views, so I'm going to say okay. And then I'm going to turn those off in fine. So when I'm in fine mode, I will not see the drawings. So if I could just grab this, I'll turn it off fine. And I grab that one, I'll turn it off there. So the idea is that the drawings only show up on coarse and medium, and the RCP shows up at fine. So let's load that in. Alright. Finish my group, go to the 3D view. Alright, now I have some pretty good trees. And as long as I'm only in medium, everything's good. To turn to fine, they go away and suddenly the other ones show up. I'm still getting that plan. I'll have to do one more edit, I think, to try to get that off. I think the only thing I'm going to be able to do is maybe turn it off on medium. So when I want to see it in plan, I might have to have it in coarse mode. We'll see if that works. Seems like a little strange workaround, but we'll kind of gauge that here in a second. Okay, so all right, finish. Yeah. So now I get my trees. I can kind of save a image of this, and then when I do a rendering or realistic, and I want to turn this to fine, and then I will get the kind of RCP information. Great.